Taylor will start. It'll be an easy transition for us. That ability to run the ball, he's got a little bit of that in him. You know, as far as learning the game and knowing the game, there's no concern there.
It is officially Taylor Heinecke time in Washington. We highlight the Commanders' quarterback's strengths ahead of his season debut. And after missing the first 2 games of the season with a thumb injury, safety Kam Curl is making his presence felt on defense. We go inside the film room to highlight his play. Plus, we send London Fletcher and Santana Moss down to the practice field to see how the team is preparing for this weekend's matchup against the Packers. And welcome on into Command Center. Julie Donaldson here with you. Of course, I have London Fletcher and Santana Moss. So Carson Wentz underwent successful surgery on his throwing hand, his ring finger. We wish him the best in recovery. But until he is back, it is time now, as head coach Ron Rivera said, for Taylor Heinecke to take over as starter. He's going to be the one starting up against Green Bay. It's going to be a little bit different to the offense. What are you expecting, Santana?
I mean, just Taylor being Taylor. I mean, one of the things that he does well is he's great at off-schedule plays. He's always a threat when he has the ball in his hand. He's one of those guys that the player's never over. So I'm looking forward to seeing him go to some of his, his guys that he have, good rapport with, and Terry, and just going out there and winging it, man. Giving this offense the spark that we need.
I look to see us lean a little bit more on the running game and then take our shots off of play action. When Green Bay's going to have to stop the run, and Taylor will be able to go play action and get shots down the field with one-on-one.
All right, looking to see how this team does move forward. Of course, Taylor Heinecke does have experience going up against the Green Bay Packers. He faced them last week in Week 7, same week as it is now. Last season, that is. Washington visited Green Bay with Heinecke there, the former ODU product. He finished the day for 25-36, 268 yards, and 1 TD and an interception. He also added a game-high 95 yards on 10 carries on the ground. And despite Washington coming up on the short end of the scoreboard there, head coach Ron Rivera knows Taylor's experience is going to be key.
Because of the familiarity and the things that we do, it'll be an easy transition for us. I think with Taylor too, there is always that ability to run the ball. He's got a little bit of that in him. So it'll be interesting, because the things that we'll do, we'll most certainly do will match his skill set. I would think so. It's been interesting to watch him in the role that he's been in. He's been a guy that's been very helpful, not just to Carson, but to a lot of the young receivers and backs. I mean, he's a very knowledgeable guy, and again, as far as learning in the game and knowing the game, there's no concern there.
Look, Taylor being familiar with the offense that Scott Turner runs is one of the main reasons he was brought here to begin with, as that emergency COVID quarterback, not realizing he'd take over pretty much all of last season in the snaps. It's going to be the first game he starts since the end of last season against the Giants. Look, we already heard that he uses his legs. When the play breaks down, he's not afraid to go. He throws a little bit with his hair on fire. But what would you say are the greatest strengths that he has, London?
Well, just that, the ability to extend plays and put pressure on defense with his mobility, his ability to make off-schedule plays. And also, you'll be able to add the element of the zone read or some design quarterback runs. And it's going to open up the offense from that standpoint, more movement passes, more bootlegs, things like that. I think also maybe you'll see Scott Turner go a little bit more to the quick, short passing game, some of the intermediate routes, and go play action and take his shots down the field when the Packers have to try to stop our running game.
And one of the things that was that was clear than what Coach stood out to me that Coach said was, his familiarity, with the system. He's been in the system long enough, so they have a chance of saying, okay, we can gauge off of what he did well and what he didn't do well. So, and as any player that's put in this situation again, I'm sure Taylor, as a veteran, knows that, hey, this is what I need to correct from last year or the years previously that's going to, bring my game to another level. So I'm just looking forward to this guy now showing his team what he's learned from himself in year 3, running this offense.
And another thing that we need to touch on, when he was a starter a year ago, we didn't have the type of talent that we have at the skill position. We didn't have a Jahan Dotson. We didn't have a Brian Robinson. We didn't utilize Antonio Gibson in the manner that we can utilize him now. And Nicole Turner.
Even Curtis Samuel wasn't healthy.
Yeah, and Curtis wasn't healthy
either.
either. So there will be more playmakers at his disposal where last year was really the Terry McLaurin and the J.D. McKissick show from the standpoint of who you're going to get to the ball to.
So now that he has more options, Santana, that's a good thing. Is there a way it could be something where maybe it's too? Do they have to adjust maybe a little bit so it doesn't become too much?
It's a great question, but I think this is going to rely on solely on the coordinator making sure that he put these guys in a great situation. I think that's something that we've been harping on, thus far in the season when it comes to seeing that favorable matchup, seeing that we can make those adjustments throughout the game when you want to get a guy matched up on someone who we can take advantage of. When you have a guy that's more familiar with your offense, let's see if this, plays a role on how successful this offense can go, just knowing that you're a little more comfortable with the quarterback.
Look, they had familiarity going up against the Packers last season. A little bit different this year, though. Aaron Rodgers and this Packers team is not the same team that we saw last year, London. They've struggled. They've lost 2 straight games. What's going on, knowing that Aaron Rodgers still has the ability to be Aaron Rodgers, and they have 2 very legitimate running backs as well?
Well, the big thing is he doesn't have Devontae Adams, and he's really without 3 of his top receivers from a year ago, and there's been an adjustment. He's playing with a lot younger guys, and those receivers also haven't been healthy, and the offensive line hasn't played up to his standard. And you can almost see see Aaron's frustration with the receivers and also with the protection at times. So he has a lot on his plate as the quarterback for the Packers.
And then if you want to talk about their defense has supposed to been, this defense similar to us. They have, I believe, more than 3 first-round picks on that defense, and they just haven't been playing up to their standard. We can talk about the offensive line not playing well too. So it's a lot of stuff going on other than Aaron Rodgers and him knowing that system.
One good thing, though, he has not won in the last 3 games at FedExField. Let's keep that streak going. Now, Washington's defense, meanwhile, they have improved over the last few weeks. One of the reasons for their success has been the play of safety Kam Curl. After missing the first 2 games of the season with a thumb injury, he has settled in and even recorded his first sack of the season, the team's Week 6 win against Chicago. So for more on his impact this season, let's go to Logan Paulsen and Fred Smoot inside the film room.
Thanks so much. Fred, I'm really excited to talk about Kam Curl. And the reason I'm excited to talk about him is because the defense started playing better after the Detroit game, and who started playing more football after the
and Kam Curl.
Kam Curl started.
Yeah. We're talking DBs, Logan. This is my world right here. This is my world right here.
Absolutely. So, again, this is one of those plays. You're going to keep an eye on Kam here.
Yep.
He's not supposed to be involved in this run fit. It's a run right here to the offensive left, and somebody gets reached out of their gap, right? This double team on the front side, they do a good job getting up to Cole.
Yep.
There leads to this nice big running lane here. And, again, when you got a hat for a hat, that's bad news in the run game.
Bad.
But you have a nice guy in the back here who can clean up mistakes for you.
All right, not only clean up mistakes, he's going to get here, and he's going to get here first very fast. Second, he's going to get here with some bad intentions.
Yes.
You understand that? And then he's getting there with the right technique.
Yep.
He's taking it on with the inside shoulder, forcing everything back inside. So that's what you like to see from your safeties. You like to first see them be aggressive, 2, do their job, and do it at a high level, and that's what Kam Curl does.
And that's what he's been doing since he's been back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And again, that's a nice physical play. You love that. But I also love that he's so smart. And I think this play shows it, right?
Yeah.
This is they checked empty, right? And
They do.
And as defense, you guys have an empty check.
And we going to check.
Yes, and it looks like to me that they're checking the cover 2. So he's got this portion of the field, and it's cover 2 man, and everyone else has a man player here. They're manned up on the outside, so no one is accounting for the quarterback.
Nobody.
That is tough football right there.
Yep. That's smart football, let's be honest.
It's smart football by Philly, but also that's one of the challenges of playing a running quarterback. But watch Kam here, right? He knows he's got to get to the half of the field. He sees the check. Everyone's asking, oh, what's the check? What's the check? Sees the check, and I love how disciplined he is here with his eyes and with his position. You mentioned how there's no false steps here. There's no false footwork, right?
No false footwork. Understanding where we're going to be outnumbered at. And this is what he sees. This is what he's keying. If you watch him right here, he's looking right here at that center.
Yes.
Once he's seen that center come off that ball, 2 steps forward, it's no longer a pass. I'm coming down here right now, and he knows who Jalen Hurts is. A big quarterback, got to get him on the ground.
And what gets him there, Fred? It's his vision.
It's his vision.
It's his vision.
It's his vision and no wasted steps. You brought that up early.
Yeah, and again, this is a tough tackle because he's going to have to take this guy on here, right? This center here. He's going to do a little work here. And that's a tough. I like that matchup offensively. Center versus a safety.
You can win that all day.
Yes.
Unless it's Kam Curl. And see, this is what he beat him. He said, you know what? I can't beat this big man with sheer force.
Right.
I'm going to beat him with my feet.
Right.
Watch this, Anthony. My feet. I'm going to beat him with my feet.
And again, again, you mentioned the technical tackling ability.
Yes.
Great technical tackle there by Kam. And again, this is, just showing how smart he is, right? They're going to short motion the receiver here. Let's just draw an arrow so everyone can see it. Short motion the receiver.
Yep.
When in a tight split, what are you expecting?
Crack.
Pick, right?
Yep.
And into a route. You
Yep.
gotta block the thing so that when this back goes to the flat here, you can't get there, right? And I watch Kam's eyes. He sees it. His eyes are on. His eyes go to the receiver.
And his eyes come right back to where they supposed. He's Elon Musk. He's one of the smartest men in America when it comes to football right now. He's saying, you know what? I'm gonna work smart. I'm not gonna work hard.
Right.
I'm gonna beat them before the play starts.
Right. And again, you see his eyes. He looks out. He sees it. Okay. His feet change a little bit. He knows what's coming, right?
Yeah.
His eyes. I love how you mentioned his eyes are on his responsibility in the backfield, and like the suddenness with which he reacts here is great. No hesitation.
How many times have we seen this guy get picked? We see this guy get picked 1,000 times. Like people are looking at their screen, screaming at the TV, "You're going to get picked, man! You're going to get picked!" And this guy just calmly, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna wait on you.
I like that adjective, calmly, right?
Calmly.
He's very calm about it, and he makes it look easy, right?
Yeah.
And this is where the ball is supposed to go. It's supposed to go right to this back for a touchdown, but Kam doesn't get picked. He's in good position, and he forces this to get strung out, which allows more people to come to the party and force the ball up.
And he's still playing patiently.
Yeah.
He's hovering.
Yeah.
Like he could go to that. Why go to him when he's coming to me?
Yep, I love it. Yes, absolutely. And again, that's something that you never see, but his intelligence makes those plays for you.
Yep.
And again, we talked about his tackling, his intelligence, but also I think he's got some great ball skills and awareness when it comes to playing football. They got a 3x1 over here at the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
And so Kam's going to match his vision, his eyes. You can see it. They're going this way, right?
Yep.
He understands that they're going to kind of match this in a man-to-man way here at the bottom of the screen. James got a tough matchup with an athletic running back.
Yep.
But the second the quarterback opens his hips, right?
Yeah.
What does he do?
He opens his hip
Right.
and he understands where's the mismatch. I have Pollard on a linebacker with Jamin Davis right there. Everybody else can hold their own, and this is cover 3. He's supposed to go to the middle of this field. He chooses not to because he understands where is the quarterback sending me and where's the quarterback taking me. I'm going to let him.
He's looking this way, right?
Yes.
And I love it. And I love that you bring that up. And again, for him to cover this grass from the hash and make this play, I know this was a penalty, but that's the kind of ability that he gives you, right?
And that's what he brings.
And he's one of the big reasons the defense is playing better, and I just think he's going to continue to play better as the season goes on.
In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the Washington Commanders Charitable Foundation is selling a limited edition Command the Cure t-shirt to promote breast cancer awareness and support local women battling breast cancer. We send Santana and London to the practice field to focus on Taylor Heinecke and the offense as they prepare for this weekend's game against Green Bay.
Near corner, he's got gas, he got it, touchdown, Alumni for their second today. Oh, look at that, they're swinging around. Volleyball high five.
Make sure you are there this Sunday to see the Commanders host the Green Bay Packers at 1 p.m. It is the team's annual alumni homecoming game, featuring a pregame celebration with our Super Bowl champions in the Legends Plaza. You can get your tickets at commanders.com/tickets. It's always great to have our alumni around. Of course, honored to work with so many of them. Their unique perspective on the game is like none other. And if you want to know what the players on the field are going through, why not ask those who were there and did it before as well? So to see how this team is getting ready for the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, we sent London and Santana down to the practice field. This is your Field Pass, presented by FedEx, where now meets next.
Thanks, Julie. Well, I guess we're at this moment in what, the second year now. We have a quarterback change, and needless to say, when it comes to Heinecke, man, he's been in this position before. I heard whispers before we even got to the point of, losing our, Carson, that folks was already trending in that direction, saying that, hey, maybe we should give Heinecke a shot. What do you feel about the capabilities of this offense moving, a little differently, and not even just, having a better offensive, play, just the play calling itself as a whole?
Well, I think, when you look at Taylor and his experience in the offense, this being his second full season in offense, he has a better understanding of the playbook. You'll see probably more design run plays with the quarterbacks, more zone reads type of things. I would probably expect us to be a little bit more under center as opposed to being in the shotgun, a little bit more movement passes, a little bit more bootlegs and things like that. Take advantage of his ability to to get outside the pocket and take advantage of his athleticism. So those are things that I expect to see out of this offense. Maybe not so many of the downfield shots that we were doing with Carson, but I expect the ball to come out a little bit quicker just because maybe the play calling, the plays will be a lot more quick throws, intermediate throws, things like that.
Speaking of the downfield shots, that's something as a receiver, we look forward to having a guy that has that skill set, knowing that especially defenses, our opposing, defenses that they have to worry about whether we throwing those balls or not. Now, as a defender, you've been a linebacker, you coming into a game plan for this week, knowing that you don't have Carson up, you have Heinecke. Say, for instance, you either watch them on film or you played against him, knowing that he doesn't have that. How does that affect or change your guys' game plan when it's saying, do we bring our defense a little closer up now, or are we acceptable saying that, hey, we still have to be mindful of the play action pass with this guy?
Yeah, as I look at the Green Bay Packers and I think about the way they've defended the run lately. The last 3 games, they're giving up over 179, almost 180 yards per game rushing. You look at our running backs, and having Brian Robinson Jr., having Antonio Gibson, and us being able to run the ball effectively. Mm-hmm. When you can run the ball like we are capable of running it, that's going to put 8-man boxes, and that'll present one-on-one matchups on the outside, and there will be opportunities to go downfield. Don't misconstrue or think that they won't take shots, and it'll be a situation where, hey, you got one-on-one on the outside. Let's put the ball out there to Terry or Jahan or Curtis or whatever, and you just give them a 50-50 ball or whatever.
Yeah.
Give your guy a chance downfield, but it's going to start for us with our ability to be effective in the run game against this Green Bay Packers defense.
Most definitely, and don't quote us on saying that he can't do that. That's something that he might not have the talent as most of the guys that that do it well, but we've seen last year and the year before, when Heineken give him a shot, he's going to take that shot and he gives a guy a favorable pass that he can go up and make a play on. So that's one of the things that's needless to say also that I think that can pan out well for our guys. Then when it comes to just the guys that I've always had my favorites in quarterbacks, whether it was how soft the ball was or whether he just gave me opportunity, period. You know what I mean? Yes. I think that's one of the things Heinicke's going to do for Terry. We've been talking about Terry not getting opportunities as often or early and often, and now you have a guy here that knows that, look, this is my guy. This is the guy who I feel like that I can go to when I need to. So that's something that I think that's going to pan out well for us as well.
It's one of the things I think about when Taylor was in his offense last year and we had our struggles and we didn't have as many playmakers as we have now.
Yeah.
We have, a lot of different weapons, a lot of different guys that can be effective, obviously getting the ball in their hands in the passing game. So I expect, the play calling to be a situation where, let's get the ball out into these guys' hands a lot quicker and let them run after the catch. You mentioned Terry. Terry, for, not being a bigger guy, he breaks a lot of tackles, a lot of yards after the catch. Get the ball to J.D. McKissick a little bit more, get the ball to Curtis Samuel, things like that. Let them guys make the plays, and then we know what Taylor can do with his legs as well and hurting this Green Bay Packers team.
Well, we definitely need a spark, and we're hoping that Heinecke can bring that to our team this week and our offense. And, back to you, Julie.
Okay, thanks, guys. Now with the Packers coming to town, we take a look back at a memorable matchup between Washington and Green Bay from 2010. More Command Center after this. This season, we are celebrating 90 with Dominion National, and we're going to go back to 2010 for this one. Washington hosting the eventual Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers. Their second half comeback sparked by quarterback Donovan McNabb. He threw for 357 yards and a touchdown. Santana Moss had a game-high 118 yards, while defensively London Fletcher recorded 7 combined tackles and a half sack in Washington's 16-13 victory in overtime. What do you guys remember from this game? Santana, look, you go first.
Well, I didn't remember that I had that many yards, but I do remember a couple of plays here and there that I made. We normally remember a lot of that stuff, but I just remember us beating on them. And it wasn't one of those games where we just, took full advantage of them. It was one of those hard fought-out games.
I remember, obviously, us winning the game, and and being able to be in on the sack of Aaron Rodgers. And the reason why is because he was such a difficult guy to sack at that point in time. And when I got there, I was like, man, yes, finally got to the great Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, definitely one of the great victories for us.
Hopefully we can get to Aaron Rodgers this week as well. He's been sacked so far 15 times this season. So our defensive line a little bit aggressive these last few games as well, being able to get out there. It is also our homecoming weekend, of course. We're going to have about 130 alumni coming out to this game. Like, that is a large number. We are going big for 90. It's so important, London, to say, like, while we're celebrating today, we play the game for today, we honor, we respect, and we appreciate those that played it.
Especially, given where we are as a franchise in terms of the name change and making sure we still tap into our past and then the former players. And I loved representing the burgundy and gold, the players who played before me. That was something I took great pride in, and I'm sure you did too, Tanner, when you played here.
Definitely took great pride in those guys that came before us. I still talk to those guys and look at them in awe, just knowing that they got a chance to experience championships and some of the stories that I've heard from them. But it's great to have this weekend because you always look forward to hearing some of those stories again and just seeing a lot of those faces that you once watched play.
When you have the alumni that come on out to practice, and this is something head coach Ron Rivera has kind of encouraged each week, they have like an honorary captain, someone that comes out and kind of talks with the guys. Like, as a player, how important was that to you, and what do you kind of get from that? Are you receptive to it? Are you tuned into it?
Absolutely. I'm a historian of the game. I study the past players, and anytime you get a guy that's coming and speaking to you and you get to hear his story, and it's great for that guy too to know that he's not forgotten. So I definitely took a great pride in being able to hear those guys, share their stories and talk to us.
Yeah, I always thought it was just great to have those guys around. It always lifts me up in practice, just seeing, especially seeing Gary Clark week in and week out nowadays. But when he used to come around, it gave me that kind of like, I want to put on for Gary, show him that I can, went out there and did some of the things that him and those guys and Monk did, and Sanders or whatever. But it always was just great just to see those guys around because I was familiar with that coming from college. Saw the greats from the University of Miami always in our locker room, always on the field. So it just lifts you up as a player.
It's going to be exciting. Hopefully you're at the game joining us there. Thanks for watching Crimson.